Welcome. How's everything going this morning? Please excuse my low voice, but I had literally just woken up not too long ago. Still in the pajamas to be honest. Um I was kind of hanging out last night and you know, by myself, not really doing anything spectacular, but just hanging out. My wife had offered to wake up with the kids. So I had the kids' monitors on most of the night. My daughter was coughing, and, they've been going through this, like, sinusy thing. And, so just recovering from that, kind of. And thank goodness I was able to sleep late because I think, I had to give her some cough medicine at, like, probably like 2:30 in the morning. But yeah, so that's where I was at. Excuse me. I'm getting all the morning congestion and stuff that I usually go through. Just looking for some tunes cuz there's that. My wife had just left for work. She had a stressful night. Not night. I shouldn't say night. She had a stressful morning because she woke up with the kids and that kind of stuff, which I'm very appreciative of. I feel bad for, but that's part of something that I go through all the time is kind of taking on emotions of others and not really being able to fully appreciate like the time that I get. Like I got to hang out and play some stuff last night, and I got to take care of my kids, and I got to kind of just I stayed up later than I expected to, but it wasn't a bad night at all. So I just got to take the time and appreciate that. There's a lot of stressed out stuff that that we're going through with like the school systems and stuff like that. I thought I had fixed that. That's annoying. There's a lot of stuff with the school systems that we had to kind of figure out and still working through. And I'm always the type of person who I'm really working on this a lot because living with the family that I live with, a lot of their stress becomes my stress, and it's something that I really need to prevent from happening. Because I'm a very empathetic person, right? So like anything, if somebody comes home stressed out, I feel stressed out, and if there's, because I want to make it better for them, I want to help them out, and I want to have a good time, but I'm always the type of person that's kind of like, hey, I will try this channel. I don't know what's on this channel, so I hope it's nothing that I have to switch up. But yeah, so it's stressful, and getting my son into a school in the stage that he is, we're convinced that he's not ready for kindergarten, but that's always the last resort. And my wife is very much the person that takes on a lot of the business end of parenting. Not for any other reason, just she's better at it. She's more collected with it. She's more on top of things with stuff like that. And she has herself together, and I'm a lot more of the type of person that, like, if the school does something to upset me, I'm very open about that. And she knows she is way more professional than I am. So she tends to get better results, for lack of a better term. But yeah, so she ends up taking on a lot of that, but she also by choice does it a lot of the time. And that's something that we've talked about before, that she's so stressed out, but it's something that she feels like she needs to do because she's working a lot and she does that kind of stuff, so it's just compromises and realizing what the boundaries are between my feelings and her feelings, and just however I can be the most supportive that I can possibly be. But today is Throwback Thursday, and one thing I was going to talk about was my old. I want to see if I could actually work this out to get rid of this big old line that's here for no reason. Hang on one second. It drives me nuts having that there. Do it. I also wonder if playing around with the lights a little bit, seeing if there you go. Just have to have the light sitting there. Oh Lord. There we go. Now my hand's glowing. That's such like a perfectionist thing of me to do, and I just feel so distracted by it. You know, if it's something where I don't really notice it, I don't really care. But you know, it's something I feel like is just right there. So, you know, we got to try to fix it somehow. But excuse me, I'm sorry for continuously clearing my throat. But yeah, one thing I used to do as a kid all the time is, you know, I used to stay up late, and I used to, you know, kind of make it a challenge for myself to stay up until. Well, I think the original goal was to just stay up for like 24 hours. And then once I hit that mark like a few times, it was to stay up as long as I could. And obviously, that's not good. Yeah. Because, you know, you don't get enough sleep. You know, things are thrown off. Your health is affected by it, you know. So last night was a good night, but it was also like at the beginning of the night I was like, I appreciate the offer to get up with the kids, but you know, I don't know. I just feel tired and I want to go to sleep, you know. And my wife was like, "Well, you know, take some time for yourself, play some games." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't really take much time just for me, you know." So I was like, "Yeah, why not? You know, whatever." And then I was like, as soon as it was like a little bit later in the morning, I was like, "Oh boy," you know. But then again, either way, if I had gone to sleep when I thought I should, then I would have woken up at 2:30 in the morning because my daughter was coughing so loud anyway. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'm happy I got the opportunity to hang out. Just making sure that my monitor is on for her. There we go. She's being cute, playing in her room. Playing with we got her an Encanto doll. It's Mirabelle from Encanto, and she loves it. She loves the movie. She loves the songs. She tries to practice dancing to it all the time and like imitating the moves and stuff. So we want to get her into dance class soon. Here we go. So, she's just playing with it, and you hear La Casa Magica like playing in the background in her room. So funny. And then she'll start twirling her shirt around like she's got a dress. Yeah. So, as I said before, the show is kind of kind of free range today and tomorrow, and then next week I'm going to start implementing like the new things that I want to talk about and stuff like that. That's horrible. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit weird today and tomorrow. And then it is my absolute goal that by next week I have things set to go and, ready to go for the new direction that I'm aiming for. And that includes stuff with socials, and it's not a whole lot to do. It just feels like a whole lot to do. So in my ADHD mind, I'm like, should I, do I need to? And then I'm like, yes, I need to handle this right now. This is a spoon, in case anybody's wondering. It's a spoon. So what I do with this is I put this, I guess you could call it a supplement, but it's called Shilajit. And let me see if I can pull it up, because I really like it and I believe in it. Let me see. Excuse me. I want to see if I can find the one that I use. It's not a real pie. Nope, none of that stuff. I apologize for all the sniffles and stuff like that. Is that the brand? I know the brand, which is horrible, but... Okay. Yeah, you're my daughter. Welcome to the show, got another storyline. Sit yourself down, about to be a good time. Toss away, go back on the come up, wanna step up. Trying to see if I can find the one that I use so that you guys can see it. Okay, here it is. See if we can add this. I'm all over the place. Like I said, I just woke up, so this is what we're getting. All right, so this is it. Let's see if we can. Hold on. Kind of bring this down a little bit, see if we can't get this over here. I don't like covering up the chat, so I really got to figure out a better layout for this. All right. Yep, go away. So where is it? So this sends you what they include, like this really cool pamphlet with it of what Shilajit is. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I think I am. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I apologize.
supercharged, then you get in the quad on my squad. Please, newbie, lay low. When you run across the map and you keep getting capped, newbie, please. Go with the game flow. When you at the power ammo, when you got some weak sauce in your hand. Back up off, yo. These gaming MCs, we got one destiny, what that be? Wiping maps, yo.
Yo, Rory XP is empowering this Guardian from my well like empowering rift. Call the storm, flash, lightning ions, blasting guardians off the wall, fighting lions. Go ahead and beg, I will not stop. No community, but my guys be going pop, pop. Savage, merciless, no time for fake fads. Climbing the top, steady grinding like brake pads.
Break fast, your team, take last, no safe paths. Recruit, place ads, straight blast. We money, straight cash. Brave lads, play last and they smash. Face facts, we murderous. I can hear your heartbeat through the mic, a sign of your nervousness. You getting nothing but the best from me. Just accept it, it's destiny. Let's go.
When you got a supercharged, then you get in the quad on my squad. Please, newbie, lay low. When you run across the map and you keep getting capped, newbie, please. Go with the game flow. When you at the power ammo, when you got some weak sauce in your hand. Back up off, yo. These gaming MCs, we got one destiny, what that be? Wiping maps, yo.
Serious, but when it's time to game, I go delirious. Cause in the office, I gotta keep it calm. But in rivals, you gonna catch these palms. I rise instead of burn, so don't test me. And those who do will get rock ready. No, you're not ready. How I fire the Flintstones, you'll get rock ready. Ha, you not deadly. You beating me, please, hardly. And when you lose, you'll be like, the wrong one. Steve Hart, get lit up again. Then you blame it on the paddles, cause I force burns MIB, moving in shadows. Who's next? Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when my fist flames in your mouth. Come on, man, here I'll bury your face with strong attacks anywhere. Aerial ace. When it comes to fighting games like on roadway, better bring your A game, homie, I don't play. Grab your sticks, yeah. Grab your sticks, yeah. Grab your sticks, time for on roadway. When it comes to fighting games like on roadway, better bring your A game, homie, I don't play. Grab your sticks, yeah. Grab your sticks, yeah. Grab your sticks, yeah. On roadway. Next one up, are you sure you wanna challenge me? That confidence and talent, it's nothing but a fallacy. For giggles, I'm picking Maple, but we know you're clinging to hope when your chances are freaking zero. Like how Pokemon Go players flock to parks, you're always on my radar, watch your mark. LMAO, when I'm laughing, it's hearty. Boys, sit yourself down, this ain't Mario Party. Riding waves like an Orcane, bringing more pain. Zero wins your name, that's a sure thing. Call me Kissing May with the puddle splash, no button mash, and I got airtime like a bubble gun. Harder than crag, straight absorbing rocks. Can't control me, Yobza, I'm unorthodox. Down that I'm cold at this game, you must be credulous. Freeze before you say another word. Edalus. When it comes to fighting games like on roadway, better bring your A game, homie, I don't play. Grab your sticks, yeah. Grab your sticks, yeah. Grab your sticks, time for on roadway. When it comes to fighting games like on roadway, better bring your A game, homie, I don't play. Grab your sticks, yeah. Grab your sticks, yeah. Grab your sticks, yeah. On roadway, sticks,
Sorry about that. I'm back. I got a phone call from my wife who was pretty upset. So, sorry. Let me just move this down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, my wife was pretty upset. The school was giving her some issues. People in school have a very stressful time. People that work in the school district have an extremely stressful time right now. And it sucks. You know, no matter what, it just sucks. And I don't know. There's no way to make it sound better, but you know, they're stressed out. They're going through a lot, and not, you know, I don't take people from school personally because, like, I believe the school system sucks in general. So, you know, I kind of take it with a grain of salt. And you know, my wife takes it very personally because she's trying to stand up for our kids and take care of their needs as needed, obviously. But somebody had kind of, you know, spoken cross to her, and you know, I just feel like it sucks, but, you know, not be the better person or anything like that, but you know, just trying to empathize with her situation and just trying to help her out without, like, taking that, you know, like, here's what to do kind of stance, you know what I mean? It's a trick for me to learn that because I'm used to solving problems, like I said, but it's something I knew how she felt about it. I kind of was understanding things my own way in my head, and you know, we just talked about it, and she needed to vent a little bit. So I wanted to make sure I gave her that time. But I'm back. Sorry, let me just see. I have to turn the make sure the monitor's on. So going over this, because I want to go back to what I was just saying. Going over this, the Sheila G. This is the company that I actually order from. With firm origins of the East, ancient Indians and other cultures revered it as a powerful medicine with recorded history making detailed mention of this potent substance for more than 3,000 years. We could watch a little video on it if we please. Video unavailable. Never mind. Found in the caves and crevices of very high mountain slopes, but also through doing my own research, I know a lot about this. It's also found in fossilized form in like stones and things like that. 10,000 to 19,000 feet throughout India, China, Central Asia, Iran, and a few other Arabian countries. The indigenous people of these areas are all very well acquainted with Shilajit. Other names for this substance include Shilajit, Solaris, or Shilajatu. This is where I originally heard of it, the Shilajit in Ayurveda, because I studied Ayurveda and I want to get more into it. But IIN does offer courses and programs on teaching about Ayurvedic practices. Some of the oldest records of this medicine stem back approximately 5,000 years to India and the Himalayan mountains, which has led many to believe that this is where Shilajit originates from. Still today, the best quality Shilajit comes from the Himalayan mountains and the Altai mountains, both of which are speculated to be between 300 and 500 million years old. Mine specifically comes from the Himalayas. I'm trying to see where, like, what it if it lists what it has in it, because I don't remember everything, obviously, but I know what it helps with. Let's see. Here we go. To help better understand precisely what Momio is, which is kind of like Shilajit, but it's close, but it's important to note both its chemical and physical properties. These characteristics are what set it apart from other substances that look similar but not at all the same, such as ozocrete. And one ought to be careful not to confuse Shilajit for these imposter products, as sometimes they are sold as fakes, yet they will not contribute positively to your overall well-being. When collected, Shilajit or Mumijo look like a dark brown, almost black resinous mass. So that's kind of what it looks like. Depending on where it is collected from, it may slightly look older, lighter or darker in color, as well as being tinged with shades of amber or red. The one that I get is I don't think I've seen any of the red crystallization on it. I think I've just seen it as, you know, like a black resin like substance. More fossilized sample, is the darker color, which further adds to the understanding that it's slightly older than Mumijo. So that's the one that I get is the fossilized one. I did a lot of research into the product before I just jumped ahead and started using it. My daughter's like playing with her toys very loud. It's found in its secondary form in a waxy resinous exudate. I don't know how to read that. From mountain crevices after it has come into contact with moisture. Thus, this yellow type is likely to be vastly different product. One made from fossilized animal droppings, which is occasionally referred to as mumi, but is better distinguished as Kerbera Shilajit or Brockshun. I'm butchering these. So the one I take, because this has a lot of information on it. There we go. So that's what I was looking for. So the one I take is, is this previously mentioned stuff that is found in the fossilized form, which is like a very dark resin. It looks like, if you've ever smoked weed, it looks like just like that burnt resin. Just no like ash on it, no stuff like that. It just looks like black resin. And it's very thick and very it is malleable, like you can, like it's moldable, but it can be difficult to manage depending on what temperature it is. So I keep it at like a cool room temperature. I'd say like, 70 degrees ish, and 65 to 70, I think, because it's dark in the cabinet that we have it in, and there's not a lot of moisture in there, and it's not very humid in there. So this is one of the main reasons why I have it, because it can be very difficult to find these combinations of acids in a lot of foods in the pure form that Shilajit has it in. For fulvic acid, there's very, very few places to actually get like pure fulvic acid from. As well as the plant alkaloids, organic acids, resins, waxes, and all that good stuff. Trying to just see. So here's what it has in it. Albumin, alumina, organic acids like cysteine, lysine, alanine, histidine, arginine, aspartic acid, glycine, glutamic acid, serine, tauronin, proline, tyrosine, methionine, leucine, and valine. Barium, benzoic acid, and fatty acids, beryllium, bismuth, calcium, carbon-60, chromium, cobalt, copper, gallium, gold, hippuric acid, humic and fulvic acids, hydroxidized primary and secondary amide peptide bonds. That's a complicated one. It's got iron, lead, magnesium, manganese, I actually don't know what this one is. Molybdenum, nickel, phenolic steroids, and pregnane steroids. Not the medicinal steroids that you guys are thinking of. Phospholipids, phosphoric anhydride. I also don't remember what that is. Potassium, resins and plant remains, silicate, groups of silicone dioxide, silver, small amounts of strontium oxide, sodium, sulfur, tin, titanium, vanadium, wax, and zinc. So this is what's in like typical Shilajit. There might be like some differences depending on what type you get. So here it talks a little bit about the temperature if you're interested in reading that. I'm going to actually link this too. That's where to find the information about the product. But that color right there and that consistency is more of like what I have, only in a liquid form. It's not like a solid at all. It's very soluble in tea. That's what the jar looks like. If we can get a little zoom in on that. I don't know if you can see it very well, but that's what the jar looks like. It's very small. It's about $40 a jar, but one jar can last you an entire year. Excuse me. It goes into the history of Shilajit. It goes into a whole lot of stuff. This is also what it looks like in its more purified, fossilized form. That talks about like one of the other forms of Shilajit, quote unquote. Just trying to see. Drying the modern way, freeze dried. This teaches you how different processes affect it, and blah blah blah, all that good stuff. I want to see if this lists all the benefits that I know about straight up. Holistic metabolism support. I was going to say metabolism. Metabolism support provides a number of minerals, organic acids, and other organic compounds that play relevant roles in body metabolism. It's a complex web of biomechanical processes where nutrients derived from ingested food are converted into forms that can be utilized by the body and eventually trigger most of the body's function, including those of immune and nervous systems. So, what that's saying, let me just because it has been found to contain minerals of their ionic form along with other nutrients and organic compounds, it's no wonder Shilajit is often thought of as a gem, blah, blah, blah. Hard to find a similar natural supplement that provides so many nutrients essential for metabolism, energy production, and overall well-being. Shilajit is considered a tonic or adaptogen. A tonic is a substance that helps to balance our body. This guy sounds like Will Smith. But yeah, so what that comes down to is that it's got many benefits to it. One of the things is it's bioavailable. It's very bioavailable because of its metabolism, metabolic substances. Metabolic. I can't get over saying, because it goes from metabolism to metabolic or whatever. But it's very bioavailable, as it says right here. Only because of it's organic, it's all natural, it's plant-based materials, it's some animal-based materials as well. But in how our body processes things, if you have like processed vitamins and minerals, a lot of times not all of it gets through your body, or your body has to work harder to process that because of its bioavailability in the processing. Rather than just walking out, picking up, like, I don't know, whatever nutrients you take. If you take ashwagandha, picking ashwagandha and just making a tea with it or whatever. Like, there's a process to make sure there's no bugs or bacteria on it. And that changes the bioavailability of it a little bit. And so this, in its purest form, is extremely bioavailable. It's got nutrients and things in it that help, mostly the fulvic acid, too, that will help you process. It's considered a like a probiotic, like a good source of probiotic. It's considered I forgot what the technical term is for it. It's not it's what is it? It's not an aromatase inhibitor. I don't believe it's something that doesn't like it supports your hormone levels. So it doesn't like have you produce testosterone. It doesn't have you produce estrogen or anything. It has components in it that help keep those two processes in check. And it works along with your body to not overdo it or underdo it in either direction. Contain its own wealth of nutrients. Some nutrients it has, such as fulvic acid, improve the absorption and usage of other consumed nutrients. So it may be the way to benefit the rest of your diet. Yay, sales pitch. This is helpful even given modern issues. I don't really want to get into sales pitches. So one of the main reasons why I chose to start using this is I'm getting older. You know, I'm 37 years old. So the hormone regulation, especially with the testosterone, estrogen levels, I wanted to make sure that those remained in check for as long as possible. I did notice that when I started taking Shilajit, that it started affecting how my mood was and how I was able to get on throughout the day. And it took a while to like readjust because I feel like my levels were so off because of like hormonal imbalances and diet changes and things like that. So this kind of it took a little while. I think it took about a month or so, and then I started seeing like or feeling the actual benefits to using this, you know, and like I really felt that hardcore. I felt that it was realigning, you know, things with my hormone levels that I needed to be realigned, you know. Helps fight cancer. It has a lot of great things in it that I don't really know if I have time to get into it. Let's just see if it has oh, look at this. A supplement that cures. Oh, and this is the biggest thing that I like about it. It does not cure anything. It helps to maintain a state of vitality and well-being. I don't like anything that suggests that it cures, because in every single, you know, for something to suggest that it cures anything, even in modern day medicine, is bullshit, for lack of a better, you know, sorry for my language or whatever, but it's bullshit, because you never know how it's going to act in your body. You don't know how it's going to react with your diet. You don't know how it's going to react with a lot of things. So that's why a lot of medicine becomes trial and error, you know, and that's a big thing to make the claim that it does not cure anything, you know. This is one thing that I was kind of leading to before. There are many methods to determine the proportion of fulvic acid in a product due to complicated nature of a substance, and may show different results. Second, attempting to concentrate the fulvic acid component of Shilajit can have a number of negative results. Among these include the concentration process tampering with the quality of the fulvic acid. And that's one thing right there. Reach all the way up. And that's one thing right there that I really like about this is, and that I was trying to touch on before, was that you know, the processing of certain vitamins and minerals can really tamper with the chemical makeup of said vitamin or mineral. It's something that I get obsessed with studying, because people are often like, oh, you know, what about organic this and organic that? And yes, the title organic does not necessarily mean that you're getting the quality that you think you are. It's a lot of times something that's just put on something to make it more appealing, or so that they can charge extra money. You know, we went through a whole lesson on reading labels and all that stuff. It was like a whole unit in our IIN training to talk about this stuff. And you know, it's a valuable thing, because, you know, people are like, oh, I eat this trash, and they show me a package that doesn't say organic, doesn't say GMO free, doesn't say this, that, or the other thing. But you read the ingredients, you do the research on it, and like you look it up, and it is fine. It's just that they didn't put it on their packaging, you know. And it seems counterproductive, because you want to know exactly where you're coming from with a lot of that stuff. But it gets funny, because some non-GMO foods aren't as good for you as you think you are, because some of the organisms that are in the food are, you know, like when you talk about like hormones, for example, some hormones that can affect you in a negative way are considered organic because they're not tampered with, but they're present, or these said hormones were used to get some sort of outcome from the meat or the dairy or whatever, you know. And when you break it down, like if you get milk from a cow, you don't want a cow that's been injected with anything. You want a cow that's healthy, that has good quality milk. That's the point. But, you know, if you have to, like in my eyes, if you have to put anything in a cow or add anything to its diet or inject anything into the cow, like some of that stuff might be organic, but it doesn't mean it's good for the cow, and it doesn't mean it ends up being good for you, if that makes any sense. So there's a lot of research that goes into a lot of this stuff. That's where most of my background information comes from, and how I have my understanding of food like I do. Because some of the food that I eat, you know, people are like, oh, I thought you were a nutrition coach. You know, I am. But, you're eating that, you know. And, you know, I I explain it to him in more layman's terms, but I'm like, yes, this is one of those foods that you got to do research behind before you just jump to it. And I end up saving a lot of money by buying this version of it rather than going for the organic GMO, non-hormones, blah 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 blah. You know, and it might not make sense, but neither does a lot of the state of medicine and FDA approved things.
About to cover from A to Z. How I really get down. Talking about getting wild.
Now, although
Coast.
this is wrong, I like how they put that. This is wrong. Some studies have speculated on its potential usefulness. However, no convincing evidence as yet exists on the efficiency of this method. Cancer has a complex pathology and, as such, requires qualified medical expertise to manage and may involve a multimodal approach to treatment. While consuming good food and living a wholesome lifestyle may have beneficial effects on the body, Shilajit is not a chemotherapeutic agent. So what this is saying is, I like how this straight up is like, nope, not for fighting cancer. Because although it has a lot of properties and nutrients that can help avoid cancer or can help with not treating cancer, but dealing with it, if you will, like hormone regulations and stuff like that. They straight up put, and this is one of the companies that I love for this type of reason, they straight up put, it is not for this. Because a lot of companies, what they'll do is they'll jump in and they'll be like, oh, this product does this, so it's got to be great for cancer and, whatever. And it's not always the truth. It's unfortunate, but it's not always the truth. And some of the stuff that is perfect for, like, hammering down on cancer cells and avoiding cancer and things like that, people get the wrong interpretation thinking that's going to be a cure when it's not, So I really appreciate the company for this and being honest and saying, like, listen, it's not that we have fulvic acid. It's that we have good quality fulvic acid and not too much, And with the memory portion of this, the memory portion of this is not specific to how you would think of, like, nootropics, for example. The memory portion of this is mainly having to do with, like I said, hormone production. It has to do with hormone and chemical regulation inside your body and your brain makeup. So, like, some of the nutrients are good and healthy for your brain, but they might not help the processing of it, as would stuff like I don't know, like brain performance enhancing vitamins, stuff like that you would buy off the shelf to improve your memory. Nothing's really going to help that except for taking care of the chemistry of your brain, taking care of the makeup of your brain, and exercising your brain, reading and play a game or memory exercises, things like that. Like, that's the important stuff, Let's see. I want to see what the trace minerals are, if they're any different. It's okay to get lost every once in a while. But maybe because they put it under the benefits page. I was just, seeing if they had anything different. But that's what that is. So it's something that I love. I absolutely adore it, and I use it in my coffee every day, except for when I'm cycling off, because I think that's a very important thing to do. So what I do is going back to this for, fucking forever ago, I found these, like, cocktail spoons, I guess. And I don't drink like that anymore. I don't drink actually at all. The jar is small, so to fit a regular spoon in it sucks. So this thing is perfect where I can tip it sideways, scoop a little bit, because you literally only need, like, a teardrop. Like, the spoon that they give you with it is literally called a nip. The problem is the spoon's only, like, this long. So, like, to get it into a cup of warm liquid sucks. So I use that spoon, and I stir it around until it's nice and absorbed into the coffee. and I drink it like that. And sometimes I'll do it with tea. Sometimes I'll do it with cold water. It just depends on, the cold water. It obviously takes longer to melt, but it does release it from its resonated form. It just keeps it a little more intact. I noticed when I drink it in cold water, I feel the effects a little bit more. So I found where my perfect balance lies is either in tea or coffee, where it warms up a little bit. I'm sure it does something to like change how much of the nutrients you're getting, and at what time, like how long it takes for them to process. But yeah, I like it. I appreciate it, and it's great stuff. I think that's one of the things that I take a lot of nutrients to help my brain, because my family has a history of memory issues and Alzheimer's and things like that. So as I get older, especially being somebody with ADHD who can already be forgetful and already have problems focusing and things like that, I don't just go for the top, like, oh, this will bring your performance up to this level and blah, 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 blah. I don't believe in all that. I took Joe Rogan's nootropic supplement, and it did not work for me. I felt like I was going crazy. It literally just put my brain into like a state of overdrive, and I felt very burnt out, and I felt very like just like wow all the time. And I suppose that's what it's advertising, but I'm not trying to overdrive an already overdriven brain. I'm trying to strengthen my brain so that it can endure living every day with ADHD, and living every day with all the learning I throw at it, with all the mental stuff that I do. I want it to last, But yeah, I forgot what I was talking about a long time ago. Oh, so what do I take now? I take, what is it? Oh my God. Oh, ginkgo biloba. And this is all stuff that has also side effects. Like, it has things in the periphery that work with it too. So like ginkgo biloba is very good for your blood flow, and very good for, a lot of your circulatory system. And that's the key behind why it helps with your brain so much, amongst a few other things. But it helps, it provides a healthy blood flow to your brain, and does some good stuff like that. So there's that. And then I take this other supplement. Let me see if I can find it. Not exactly painful, but still. I like that. I take acetyl L-carnitine as well. That helps with certain nutrients that your body tends to deplete very quickly. I'm just trying to look for I found this supplement that I really like. So I'm just trying to see it before. Let me see if I can turn this back on. There we go. It's called Extreme Clarity Brain Booster supplement. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but I really don't feel like reading that. Organic, no gluten, or natural brain supplement provides. Yeah, it goes into the description. But this is what it is. Extreme Clarity. What it has in it that where is it? So it has vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, thiamine, riboflavin. I'd never know how to say that. Niacin, vitamin B6, folate, biotin, pantothenic acid, calcium, iron, magnesium, zinc, which are two main ones why I chose this one. Selenium, copper. That's also why I chose this one, was the selenium. Copper, manganese, chromium, there's that molybdenum again. And potassium. And it has a few things in it. It has the where is it? The grapeseed extract, which is something I don't normally get in my everyday diet. Um, it had the Huperzine A. That's a big component to it too, because the Huperzine A helps stop the breakdown of acetyl L-carnitine. Now where is? Because I'm pretty sure that this also has Bacopa Moneri. I thought for some reason that this also had a mushroom blend in it, but it does not. I don't think it does. I thought it said on the bottle that it does, so maybe they changed the product since I ordered it. But yeah, that's the one that I use, and it seems to not give my brain that like overdrive feeling. It seems to like pump up my brain, give me energy to last throughout the day. That's the other part of it too, is is the amount of is like this stuff helps your circulatory system. It helps kind of like pump your body up and like get you moving, get you going. You know. Hold on one second. Don't go to sleep yet, baby girl. We got to pick up your brother soon, okay?
Whatever you're leaning towards, I'm with it, sounds magical. I'm all yours. My heart's on Adderall.
Love you.
Beats attention on you.
She does this when she plays hard in the mornings. She'll like around around like when she'll do this in the morning where like she'll play really hard and like really loud, and then when she finally settles down around like 11, she'll like start to fall asleep, and we have to go get her brother at like 11:15, 11:20. I like this hip hop station for Pretzel Rocks. But yeah, so those are the supplements that I include in my everyday routine. Those are with taking multivitamins. I don't really like to do. I include a lot of really good supplements when in my everyday workouts. So like I have protein shakes, I have organic fruit and vegetable based energy blends. I have all that stuff, you know, to try to help back off from the coffee and like rejuvenate myself a little bit, manage my blood sugar levels, which everybody gets scared of. That doesn't mean I'm diabetic. It just, everybody has blood sugar spikes and dips and whatever, and this just helps mellow everything out, especially after a workout, you know, especially after a good hard workout. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I include in my daily through, if I don't eat it, you know, it's in my vitamins, or it's in the Shilajit, or it's in like my mud water mixture, you know, with the mushroom powder mixes and stuff like that. I'm very picky about what I put in, because when I take multivitamins, I've often found that like multivitamins don't contain everything that I need to include in my everyday life. Also, they include too much of other things that I already have a lot of, you know. And being a doctor, had found out that actually makes me very exhausted, and it makes me very tired to have that. So, you know, he suggested that I don't take multivitamins. He suggested, you know, doing, you can do a simple blood panels, and from there you can tell exactly what you're low on and what you're, there you go. You can tell exactly what you're low on and what you need in your everyday diet, you know. Plus some of the beneficial things that you should include, you know what I mean? Like the mushrooms, I always am an advocate for it in some way, shape, or form. If you can get them into your diet, it's primo. That's one thing I would suggest never going without, unless you have like some severe sensitivity to them. You know, like me personally, if I eat a lot of mushrooms, I have, you know, GI upset where, you know, I'll have to use the bathroom or whatever, and so I tend to pick it in very light forms. Like if I go to a restaurant and I had a steak with mushroom sauce, like that will set my stomach off very hardcore. But if I have like a stuffed mushroom, that won't, you know. Or if I have mushrooms on a hamburger or something like that, or in a salad, that won't bother me. Or a powdered form never bothers me, you know. And that's why I do it the way I do. But yeah, so that's stuff that I introduce in my everyday life, and the only reason why I talk about that is because, obviously I'm ADD and I went off on a very wide tangent, but it's something that works for me, and I think it's very important to talk about because you see these things on TV or you read about them online or you see ads for them online. God forbid you Google something or you look something up on Bing or whatever, and all of a sudden you get advertisements left and right for all this stuff on your phone or your computer or whatever. And I think it's just very important to remember that everybody's very biodiverse. And with me, with medicines, like I usually have the unfortunate luck where like when I got into a bad accident or when I hurt my feet a long time ago and was having like excruciating pain, like, they tried prescribing painkillers and Percocets and all this other stuff and like really powerful stuff. And, it didn't do anything for me. Like it didn't work. So I tend to have very weird medicinal interactions like that. And I think it's like, I forgot what it was called. I have to look a lot of things up today. I apologize. It's where you experience the opposite reaction of what the intended reaction is. Medicine.
This song goes out to all you people obsessed right now with
It's not the word that I'm thinking of, but a paradoxical reaction. It's basically where the same thing with coffee. Like coffee doesn't really like boost me up and wake me up, but it makes me calm. It makes me feel calm in my body and in my mind. And a lot of stimulants do that, and that's why they recommend stimulants for people with ADHD. But I tend to experience that with any of the medications that I take. And so, with my nutrients and my vitamins and minerals that I include in my daily diet, that's the same thing. A multivitamin that's supposed to energize somebody puts me to sleep, and that was the explanation that my doctor gave me, was because I was getting too much of certain vitamins and minerals. At the same time, stuff like, like I was saying with the Joe Rogan, what is it, On It or whatever, the brain supplements. Like I feel like that product is made for people who have very low motivation, very, their brain's always just kind of running in slow-mo or whatever, or you feel very laggy. And for the layman, it's probably a great supplement. But for me, it took an already like very fast, overdriven brain and just made it go faster. And I was like, I don't like this. Like, this makes me feel crazy, So it's just something to be wary of and something to respect and be careful with. As with all things dietary and the like, you never know how it's going to react in somebody's body. I was enjoying that sip. That's what took me so long to say something. I was literally just sitting in there with it on my tongue. Excuse me. Bless me. Thank you. Before I forget. So what I was talking about with my wife's situation going on, there's a book that I've actually been using a lot. Let me see if I can bring it up. I'm doing a lot of browsing today. Let me just see. No, how do I just log in? Bro. Oh, I could do it this way too. It's a lot easier. It's not a real pie, so please don't eat it. I haven't been paying attention to what they're singing about, so if it's inappropriate, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so here we are, and we're going to open up this bad boy. Don't flip around. You better stop. It's this one right here. Marshall Rosenberg's Nonviolent Communication. Create your life, your relationship, and your world in harmony with your values. Excuse me. It is on, what's it called? It is on Audible. And it's basically, a very cool book about understanding the underlying thing. And I'm going to get into this more next week because it's one of the first things I want to talk about. Is about understanding the underlying meanings behind what people say, how people act, what they do, and, really reinterpreting that with a sense of love. And he calls that talking life into something. He talks about how, we often go on this narrative that, whatever's going on in our own mind, we go off of this narrative from that perspective, and we don't look at what the other person can be going through, stuff like that. So he talks about talking life into something as though, somebody comes at you, they're pissed off, you have a bad day, or they have a bad day, and they're just an aggravated mess, and they're rude and nasty. And he talks about trying to stop in the moment and listen to what they're really saying. Like, is somebody saying you're an asshole, or is somebody saying I'm having a really rough time and I need somebody to unleash on, and I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm upset, And so what he does is kind of like a reverse talk. And it's kind of like, this says this song is in from Destiny 2, or is it just named Destiny 2? Whatever. But he comes from the perspective of, he talked to people from a bad neighborhood, and, they were like, oh, like they were like, nobody cares about us. Nobody's going to come and rescue us, and nobody's going to do this and that. And then he was like, well, so what I'm hearing is that you don't feel safe. I'm hearing that you feel hopeless. I'm hearing that, is this correct? That type of thing. And, they're like, yeah, well, yeah, obviously, that's how I feel. And, it's through this method of communication that he's found that people have a lot more under the hood than you would think they do, And that's what I try to exercise a lot recently since starting this book. And that's what I talked about with my wife on the phone, because she's upset, she's crying, she doesn't feel right about the interaction that happened between her and the school people. And, I said, don't let it bother you, because you don't know, like, they're going through a lot. They're going through a lot this time of year, dealing with people trying to sign their kids up for school. How many other parents are going through the same situation that we are? How many other parents are yelling and screaming at them? Stuff like that. So it's not ignoring your feelings. It's just understanding where the other person's coming from, and accepting that, hey, also there's this, but don't let that ruin your entire day. This is one person out of your entire day. We need to focus on getting him into school. We need to focus on getting him into the right programs. We need to focus on that rather than how this person made us feel. And the way this person made us feel might not be under her control, or she might be an asshole. Either way, it's not for us to waste our time on, She's going to have her supervisor call us, or we're going to get in touch with her supervisor some way, somehow. And I said maybe it's worth mentioning, if you feel like you've been violated in some way, maybe it's worth mentioning to the supervisor, listen, I'm upset because we need these services for my son. He has speech issues. He has stuff like that. And, this is my middle son, Philip. This is not Michael. And, we're looking out for his best interest, which is where a lot of the emotion and the stress comes from. Especially being a parent, looking out for your son or your child's best interest is the most, if anything violates that, or if anybody goes against that, you've unleashed an animal, So, talk like a person and just tell them what your needs are, and, maybe it's worth mentioning that, like, hey, I understand that your employee might be going through some things, but I feel very disrespected in the way that she spoke to me. And, all I'm trying to do is take care of what's going on with our son's education. And we don't want to see him get left behind. We don't want to see him have issues and have, weird social things going on. And, just explain it to the supervisor that you have a lot going on in your head, and it was just the wrong time to catch that type of attitude. But also realize that this person could be experiencing so many other things on the opposite side of that, And, I was like, don't let this person ruin your entire day. It's, it's one person out of everybody you're going to talk to this entire day. They don't deserve your energy. You deserve to put your energy where it needs to be, And right now that's getting our needs met for our kids. Oh boy. Ninja rap. As soon as I read that, I heard Vanilla Ice's Go Ninja Go Ninja Go. Yeah. Or what was it just Ninja? Whatever, his Ninja Turtles theme song for the second movie. That's what I heard. But I don't think this is the same thing. But yeah, so we're getting close to closing time. I apologize for being on so late. I was actually going to end it a lot earlier, but I felt out the vibe and just kind of stuck with it and hung out, I appreciate everybody who's come out. I forgot my damn stream avatars again. Damn. I got to make it so that like when OBS opens, that opens too. So yeah, I appreciate you all being here. I had a good time. I had a good talk, and I hope you all come through tomorrow morning, 9:30, 9:45-ish a.m. I think the time I'm going to aim for is 9:45 every day. I think that's going to be my time, and the only time that's not going to be possible is if something comes up during transit for my son's school. I think I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it should be okay for when my daughter starts school too. So I think that's going to be my schedule is 9:45. Getting home at 9:15 and getting my daughter in for a nap and stuff like that or in for play and stuff like that before stream is kind of challenging. So, cheers. But tomorrow it's going to be more of the same. And then I'm going to be working on changing over my social medias. I'm going to update my links. I'm going to do all that good stuff. And I'm really going to focus hard on trying to get that done today. I have a lot of, not free time because I never have free time. But usually on Thursdays, we have to bring my son Michael to swim. And we don't have to do that today. So I'm going to take some of that time and focus on getting this stuff ready to go for next week. And popping off, and I'm excited. So join us tomorrow for maybe the last Fix It Friday. As I said before, I might start to change up and not do the theme days, or we'll see. It's going to be a transition. I'm just getting some of the smaller technical stuff out of the way, and so it'll be good. But I will see you guys tomorrow. This has been the hip hop. Non-mature, YouTube safe, stream safe selection on pretzel.rocks. You see all the playlist information right here on my right. And I might change it because I have it where like the chat menu refreshes every time I come back to a scene. I don't know. I think it looks better, but the song information's in the chat if you want to scroll up and see what Pretzel Rocks post the song information for me in case you're looking up the artists or anything like that. And I will catch you guys later. Enjoy. Thank you for hanging out with me for this clusterfuck-minded hangout session while I'm still in my pajamas and waking up. And I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. Have a good one.